Right, we are live. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314.
Century material, which really
this phone hopped on out of nowhere.
Confronts the issues that
scared the bejeez out of me. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, Pianki Patah Muntu Nephra Ra, aka DMG. And we got another powerful show with another powerful brother. He here to clear up some things. And so we're going to let the brother introduce himself in just a second, but before he do, let me do my usual spiel. Let me say hotep to my fellow Kemetic brothers and sisters. Let me say God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. Let me say Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Let me say shalom to my Israelite brothers and sisters. And let me say assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the nation of Islam. Let me say what's up to my atheist brothers and sisters. Let me say peace to the brothers and sisters in the nation of God's and earth, them 5%ers. And let me say jumbo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Now, y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you Black, I'm with you, and I hope that you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. And as I always say, we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable, and we can have unity without uniformity. At least we can try to. With that being said, my brother, please reintroduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience. Let's go. You unmute yourself, bro.
Peace, everyone. How you doing? Formerly known as Israel Doctrine, now known as Reloaded, Reborn.
Okay.
Because I used to have a channel, Israel Doctrine Reloaded. And what's his name? K. Slay and all the other people destroyed my channel by lying on me. So I have been reborn. So it's Reloaded, Reborn now. Go check the channel out. I got some info over there. But as I was telling the brother here, I was listening to the mental masturbation last night, and so much semen was flying over the place, I couldn't enjoy the show. So I wanted to come and give a presentation. And I wish those people would call in, seeing we on Zoom and y'all got the phone number, y'all can call in and hit the codes and we can speak. Because I would like to reason with some people. I would have loved to have been in last night's conversation, but I looked at the chat and people was like, we don't do this and we don't do that. And I'm like, y'all on this show? Then why are y'all speaking to me in the chat about what we do as if y'all run the show? But all those people that had a loud mouth last night about we this and we that, like I said, I would like to reason and hit some points and then go into the presentation to deal with some of them points. But it's however he want to do it. I'm here to give a presentation, but I'm here to deal with all the mental masturbation. You know what I'm saying?
All right, bro. So speak on whatever you want to speak on, and then we can get into your presentation.
Well, it ain't much I want to speak on. It's the same old, same old. I haven't changed, though I am reloaded, reborn now. I'm still the same old Israel Doctrine. I'm just born again. Never was in that mind state completely, so I'm fully immersed in that mindset now. So I don't plan on cussing none of you all out tonight. You won't be no MFs and this and that. I won't use that language with y'all. I'm a new person. That's what a stroke will do to you. You get a big blood clog in your brain, you start thinking different. So, like I said, if you let some people on if they want to come on, all those we this and we that people. Because hate, I get a lot of that. I understand y'all hate Israel, so y'all most definitely hate Israel doctrine, even the Hebrews. See, I have brothers and sisters, because I come out of Hebrew Israelite camp. I come out of one, but I never was a part of, I never joined the camp. And I see now why I never joined the camp and why I had issues with people outside of the camp, because they was carnal minded still. They was Hebrew Israelites. And I had ascended that thought pattern. Because when I came to the South, people in the South, Arkansas, to be exact, didn't know what a Hebrew Israelite was, never heard of it, because I never heard of it. So when they asked me what I was, I told them I was a Christian. But the first Christians was Israelite. Biblically, historically, primarily stated from me, because I had the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Though I went to a Hebrew Israelite camp, they weren't saying that then. But they seen the fame that came with the ignorance of the name on YouTube, and they want to be Hebrew Israelites now. And they invested in being Hebrew Israelites. So it's like, y'all not going to invest in Israel doctrine of what I'm talking about, because y'all still carnal minded. But that's the only thing I got to say about that. If you just want me to go get into the presentation, I'll do that. But I would like to deal with some of those high-minded masturbators.
All right, well, so you cool with people jumping on whenever, or you want to get into the presentation first?
Right now. So then we can deal with the presentation and be like, see, there go your answer right there. And there go the answer to that right there. Okay. What you asked, oh, there go the answer to that right there.
Got you. All right, I'm gonna throw the link in the chat, and we'll see who bite. So we'll do it like that. We got MVP in the building.
I know people hate me and they want to say something. Even if they don't say a lot, if they want to say something, well, I don't believe you got the evidence. I don't listen. I like the gainsayers. They make it all so good once you shut their mouth. But yeah, go find Chris Harris, somebody, and give him the phone number and tell him come on over so he can ask some of those.
MVP in the building. He in the building. Oh, so now you got to be careful though, because I don't know if you want that type of drama now.
All the smoke. I want all the smoke.
Now, okay, I'm just saying. So you asking for it.
Brother, you see me in the back chats, how they attack me. Everybody hated me. Everybody had something to say.
No doubt.
But see, when I'm live and can talk and people can listen, everybody get scared. They get afraid. Something happened to them. I took their heart. So Chris, he's one of the biggest loudmouths. He's been talking for a long time. Ex-Hebrew Israelite. That show how dumb he was all them years, running around saying he was a Hebrew Israelite. Now he finally come to an understanding that I've been in Sabali, and he's afraid to deal with the truth.
We'll see, man. If he jump in here, we'll see what's up. But in the meantime, what in particular did he say that you disagree with?
Well, he kept saying Moses wrote some books, and the Bible don't say Moses wrote the Bible or wrote the first 5 books and stuff. The Bible don't say that. It don't. If he can show it to me, I'll believe it. If he can't show it, then he just lied. And seeing that he was saying he was a Hebrew Israelite, it shows how ignorant he is of the text that he's dealing with. Would you agree?
Where does the idea or the concept that Moses wrote the first 5 books, where did that come from then?
Well, all the concepts and stuff come from what they were saying, the Nicene councils and all these different people. White folks taught the uneducated, un-English speaking Negro about the Bible. They knew about it. They knew about Christianity and all that over there on the shows in Africa. But when they came over here, they didn't speak English. So when you go to English words and English definitions, Malcolm X showed showed you that a long time ago. They showed you that in Spike Lee movie, that he took the dictionary and he rewrote and redefined the words. That's why when you hear black and you deal with the Moors and stuff and you say black, and then you get into a big argument about it. And it's like, why are we arguing over white folks' language? We learned from the ignorant slave master, taskmaster. That's why we don't speak good English like the people over there across the water, because we learned from dumb white folks. And so we became dumb black folks, or dumber black folks. So when he started using all these educated jargon that he liked to use and stuff, because he done went and learned the white man language in the schools and stuff, probably done bent over and got paddles and everything. You know what that is, right? Then that's what you have. And since he been around the white boys and learned their jargon, he attacked the blacks that afraid to go to school and learn or afraid to do research. That's why he ain't like that one brother, because he go to school and he do research and he got information. So if he in here, why hasn't he called yet?
He said, go ahead and do your presentation, and then he'll jump in.
Well, y'all can jump in the presentation at any time you want. I'm gonna start off with this little information here first. Let me make sure my screen is lit up. Now, y'all know I say I can't read, I can't spell, so don't ask me to read nothing, don't ask me to spell. I'm gonna get this Apple to do all the work. This my brother on the side. When I say read, it's gonna start reading.
So the Apple is your reader?
Yeah. How do I flip it?
Gotcha.
Do it flip, or do I need to turn the screen?
Let me see. Let me make sure I got it where you able to share. Just a second. All right, well, you should be good now.
What's the matter? I want to turn. I just turn it like this. I got a new house, so y'all ain't gonna see what y'all once saw. I need to turn this camera.
Oh, you're not sharing it from your. Okay, I got you. You ain't got to worry about turning it.
No, I could send it to you. Let me send it to you. Nah, I can't send it to you. Okay, y'all can get it reading.
We got MVP in the building.
All right, well, let me do this and allow the computer. Y'all should hear the voice. Let me know if you can hear this.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. We got MVP in the building, bro.
David Brown.
Okay, my bad. MPV, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? Can you read?
What's up?
Ad hominems. So, you're insulting me, and I was getting ready to say shalom to you. But neither here nor there. Can you read Deuteronomy 31 and 24, please?
Hebrew, you're a Hebrew Israelite. Don't do that to Israelite.
I have been in Hebrew in 7 years. Can you please read Deuteronomy 31 and 24? Because you said that it doesn't say nowhere in the Bible that Moses wrote the book. It tells you right there in Deuteronomy.
If you got it, you can read it, brother. If you got it, you can read it. I accept it.
Sure. I'll read it. I'm gonna pull it up. Deuteronomy 31 and 4. And it came to pass when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book. That's what it says.
Okay, so we know he wrote the laws and commandments that was given after the 10, correct? He wrote them and put them on the side of the Ark of the Covenant.
You said Moses never wrote a book.
You said,
where does it say that? I'm reading it right here.
You saying he wrote the first 5 books of Torah. If that's the case, the first 5 books of Torah.
You said that it don't say nowhere in the Bible.
Listen, brother. Listen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm waiting for the. Thank you. If you can't answer that and you can't give an honest answer to that, then I'll only want to deal with Leandre, the Slim Reaper. I like talking to guys like that. He bring out the best in me now.
So,
Other than that, with
so
you were proven wrong right there. So thank you, bro.
you said he wrote the Bible, the first 5 books of the Bible. And what you just read said he wrote the laws, statutes, and commandments, and those laws, statutes, and commandments went on the side of the ark. Is that true or not? Because you only read a verse. So how are we supposed to know what context you're talking in?
He gone, bro. He gone.
But let me present it. Can y'all hear this?
Go ahead and play it again.
Let me play it again.
You look for a collapse in Egyptian civilization, and that's where you'll find Moses and the Exodus. David Rahl.
I can hear it, but it's a little distorted.
Okay. It said you look for a collapse in Egyptian civilization, and that's where you'll find Moses in the Exodus. This is what David Rose said. I didn't hear that name last night. David Rose, he did a whole movie on this, him and some other guy. So I'm gonna go to the next slide now. I got about so and so. So here goes something that people know about, but they don't speak about. So let's see what it says. And then
IPUWER papyrus, an Egyptian record of the plagues.
So the papyri, IPUWER papyrus. So it's a piece of paper, if we can look at it here. It's a piece of paper with the Egyptian record of a plague that's similar to the plague that took place in Egypt called the Passover. Am I still here?
You hear it? Go ahead, bro.
Okay, I'm looking on my phone. So the papyrus, the apparel, or however you say that, papyrus, the Exodus record is similar, very similar to the Egyptian plague that took place in the Bible. So let's hear what it says. Remember, it's gonna read. If it's bad, I'll repeat what it said.
Plague stalks through the land, and blood is everywhere. Nay, but the river is blood. Trees are destroyed, no fruit, no herbs are found. Gates, columns, and walls are consumed by fire. The land is not light. He who places his brother in the ground is everywhere. Gold and jewels are fastened on the neck of female slaves.
So we know the Israelites, the Hebrews back then, become Israelites afterwards. That's their origin, Hebrew. That's what the people call them. They didn't call themselves Hebrew. When they left, they ramshacked Egypt. They took jewels and stuff. That's Exodus 19, where the Lord tell them to do these things. So, anybody know about the IPUWER papyrus? You know about that?
The what papyrus?
IPUWER, apparel, something like that.
The Ebers papyrus?
Yeah, whatever the name of it.
Yeah.
Now, let's go through it some more. Because no one ever speaks about this papyrus in this plague. And if
I've heard it spoken on plenty of times in an attempt to say that the Exodus or the Exodus account took place. But go ahead. I want to see your spin on it.
Okay, now let's hear what the computer has to say. Not me. I ain't got no brother reading. I don't run with Hebrew Israelites, so it's my attempt to be like.
Now notice the incredible parallels between this document and the record of the book of Exodus. An eyewitness to the plagues here describes an incredible story of lamentations, ruin, and horror. His story is an Egyptian version of a great national calamity. He writes, Papyrus 2:8, forsooth, the land turns round as does a potter's wheel. Papyrus 2:11, the towns are destroyed. Upper Egypt has become dry wastes. Papyrus 3:13, all is ruined. Papyrus 7:4, the residence is overturned in a minute. Papyrus 4:2, years of noise. There is no end to noise. The play on the word noise here could mean earthquake, as the Hebrew word ra signifies both noise and earthquake. Earthquakes are often accompanied by loud ominous sounds from the bowels of the earth. Papyrus 6:10, that the earth would cease from noise, and tumult, uproar be no more.
So now all this stuff was taking place. This dude writing this, you could say it's a poetry or whatever, but he's making a documentary of it through writing. He didn't have no screen and he couldn't do the motion picture Star Wars stuff. But this is his description of the destruction that took place once upon a time in Egypt. If you say it never took place, now you calling this Egyptian guy a lie. So you ask, where's the evidence at? The Egyptians look like they're talking about what's going on. But let's compare the two now. We're going to do the plague of the blood. You tried to say how many plagues it was last night. I don't know either because I'm not that intelligent. But if you're going to speak on something, you should know. So I got it on paper. See, I'm not intelligent enough to keep this stuff in my mind. I'm not even intelligent enough to read it to you. So we're going to let the computer do the reading.
The plague of blood now noticed is amazing parallel between the Bible account of the plagues on Egypt and the papyrus here. Exodus 7:21, there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. Papyrus 2:5, -6 plague is throughout the land. Blood is everywhere. Exodus 7:20, -24, all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And all the Egyptians dig round about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink with the water of the river. Papyrus 2:10, men shrink from tasting human beings and thirst after water. Papyrus 3:10, -13, that is our water. That is our happiness. What shall we do in respect thereof? All is ruined.
So now, do the Bible not speak about the first plague being the plague of blood? And do this papyrus not speak about this blood situation due to its some medic writing, some, some is or whatever you want to call this Egyptian writer or this former writing. Since y'all go to school with the white boys, you should know the terminology. I never been to school with the white boys. Now we're going to go into the next plague. If y'all can hear this, good. If you can't, speak
the
up.
The plague of in Exodus 9:3, the hand of the Lord is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain. Papyrus 5:5, all animals, their hearts weep, cattle moan.
So that's the next plague. Now remember, if you're Egyptians, when you deal with the netters are natural gods. They're gods or goddess of nature, right? That's why they're netterus, right? So the Lord went through and basically spit in all their eyes. He made a mockery of them. So you got gods of cattle, you got gods of water, you got gods of this, you got gods of all of this. The Lord was showing, and the Egyptians wrote about it, all these different netters of gods, he made open show of them. Now y'all ask for, the proof that it happened. So if Egyptians wrote a record of this, and y'all want to ride the Egyptians' manhood the way y'all do, then why won't you accept this account?
Okay, so let me say this. So number one, nobody rides the Egyptians' manhood, but I like
about you.
I like how you said that though. But I just want to be, I want to be clear on what we're saying. So on this papyrus, you do know it's a poem, and it's talking about these people who they describe as Asiatics, or what they call the Amu. Now, they don't call them Israelites, they call them the Amu, because they said they were Asiatic people.
Well, they weren't Israelites until they went into the land, so they would have called them Hebrews or Hiskos.
Right. Yeah, no, they still would have been Israelites though, because they was Israel's descendants, right?
In Egypt, they was known as Hebrews. So if they was talking about them, they would have talked about the Hebrews.
So if they would have said Hebrew, they wouldn't have said Amu though, would they?
I don't know the languages and stuff, but
but they would have said on the papyrus, they would have described them as the Hebrew or the Israelites or whatever, but they called them the Amu. And so what I'm saying is, and then they describe when we see how the Egyptians or the Kemetiu, the Ramech, when we see how they describe these people, they don't look like you and me. So I'm just making sure this is the papyrus that you want to stand on, because the people described in this papyrus look like some other shaded people.
Well, I'm not dealing with the shade of the people or what they call the people. I'm talking about the destruction that was going on, because they act like Egypt was never destroyed in the manner that the Bible said it was destroyed. So therefore, it couldn't be no Exodus, because it was never.
Let me say this. That's another thing though, bro, because ain't nobody leaving in this papyrus either. Ain't no Exodus. They coming in, and the only thing that happened was a flood. None of the other. It's just a flood. And when they talk about the water being red, that's simply could be from the filament in the water due to the flood. It could be a figure of speech.
A lot of things. Yeah.
Right.
It's
exactly.
So
I'm just making sure this is the papyrus that you want to go with regards to. Okay, I did. So we good. We got MVP back in the building too.
Yeah. I want to debunk this real quick. This is easy. Ramses, the Ramesside kings, are in what dynastic period, Israel Doctrine? We're going to roll with what you're saying. What dynastic period?
I never said Ramses was the pharaoh. So why are you?
I didn't say. I'm asking a question.
Why are we talking about Ramses? What Ramses has
I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why. Your book says that you all built.
Listen,
hold on, Bianchi, can I answer this question?
Let him get it out, bro.
You know the dagger.
Listen clearly. I did not say Ramses.
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second, MVP. Go. What you saying?
Listen, I did not say Ramses. I didn't bring him to the table. So any bringing Ramses to the table and long discussion on it, I don't want to have it, because Ramses is not the God of Exodus.
Well, let me tell you why. He gonna tell you why it's relevant though, because y'all having a dialogue, but you. Real quick, you welcome this dialogue. So he gonna tell you why what he's saying is relevant to the conversation. Go ahead, MVP.
Okay, I'm going to explain to you why it's relevant to the conversation, right? The Ilwa Papyrus was written in the 19th century BCE. It was written by a priest by the name of Ilwa. Now, if you read the end of it, it tells you that it is in fact an allegory or a riddle for the king, so that he may always stay true and in correct standing with the gods of Egypt, because it will begin to show favor to the Asiatics. That's what this papyrus is all about. Now, this is the 19th century BCE in which this papyrus was written. All right. The Ramesside kings don't come around until, watch this, guys, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, some 600 years later. Why is what I'm saying relevant to what he's trying to say? The Ramesside kings aren't mentioned in history until the 19th dynastic period. The Ilwa papyrus was written some 600 years earlier in the 12th dynasty. Are you saying that you guys built the city of Ramses, as the Bible says, but you all left
Look,
out.
brother, don't bring Sagnetta
Oh,
TV
hold on,
argument
can I
over
finish?
here.
Hold on.
This is
You see what he's doing?
This right here. This
You
right
gotta
here.
let him get it
Paradigm
out, though,
Shift
bro.
TV.
You got to let him get it out, though.
Oh, I thought he asked me a question, so I was answering it because he said, "Are you
I haven't
saying
even
this?"
mentioned your name.
You said, "Are you saying
I
that?"
haven't
So
even
who are
mentioned
you
your
talking to?
name.
You're
I'ma
talking
ask
to
you,
me. If you say, "Have
Okay,
I
Bianchi.
said anything?" You
Bianchi,
don't have to say
Bianchi.
my name.
Bro,
Stop
bro,
being
let-
childish, man.
Bro, let him get it out so y'all can have a dialogue. Because you
Well, I
remember
thought we
you
was dialogue.
right, but you got to let
Okay.
him get his words out, though,
I'm
bro.
gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
I appreciate it.
Now, the Ilwa Papyrus, albeit we do see similarities in the text that we also see in the biblical narrative, I think if I can use standing logic and say that there were a lot of ideas brought into the biblical text from the Ilwa Papyrus. But a couple of key things that it never mentions. One, in the Ilwa Papyrus, it never mentions any of the Pharaoh's firstborn sons dying. Doesn't mention that anywhere in there. Two, it mentions Asiatics coming into the land, not leaving out. And you yourself just stated that if these people would have been Israelites, they would have been considering them Hyksos shepherds, which you just said. But this does not talk about Hyksos shepherds escaping. That's talking about Hyksos shepherds coming into their land. And we know after the 12th dynastic period, we had the 13th, 14th, and 15th dynasties, which began to fall into what we call the intermediary period, when the Hyksos kings began to rule. So, albeit you're trying to somehow say that the Ilwa Papyrus is somewhat talking about the Exodus, it's not. It was actually a riddle for the king, and it was written for the king that he may always stand correct with his people, because the God will curse him also. That's what this thing represents.
Well,
So, go ahead.
I'm glad you elevated it. I'm glad you elevated the conversation to chronology, because it seems that you tried to put it in there, but I don't think you even, or I would like to ask, do you even know how to come up with a chronology?
According, I use Manetho's record, and Manetho seems to be correct on his record because he uses, I understand the chronology, if that's what you're asking, yes.
No, I said, do you know how to come up with a chronology?
No, tell us.
How they came up with it?
No, tell us.
You don't know. That's what
I didn't say I didn't know. I said, go ahead and you tell us.
Why you want to answer my question? Why you being disrespectful in the conversation?
I
Listen,
haven't been disrespectful with you at all.
No, he said no, bro. He said no.
Okay,
I said no, you tell us.
What's there to know? Okay. So you don't know how to
We
come
know
up
that the
with
dates for the, we do know that the dates for the Ilwa Papyrus are the 12th dynastic period. It was written during that time.
Do you know if the
19th
chronology
century.
comes forward or it goes backward? Do you at least know that elementary?
I do know that. What does that have to do with any of this?
We're talking about a chronology now.
Yeah, we're talking about
You
chronology.
put the chronology in there.
No, the scholars have determined the chronology.
And you brought it up, correct?
That is correct, that this papyrus was written a lot earlier than you all had been there. You guys weren't there yet.
So you saying the Exodus was at such and such time, and this papyrus was written.
No Exodus ever happened. No Exodus ever happened.
That's cool. But you gave it a date and time. And then you said something.
I gave papyrus a date and time. And I showed you how this papyrus does not line up with your biblical narrative.
That's why I don't like you to run your mouth that much, because we're not dialoguing back and forth. You're going on a long discourse, and I can't talk to you. If you talk for 30 minutes.
I'm just being on topic here.
Okay. If you talk,
I'll let you get back to your. I'll let you get back to your computer, friend. Go ahead, Bianchi. I'll come back.
All right, bro.
But
we got another guest, bro. WOB.
Okay.
They fell off.
But you see how he speaks a long time, and then he acts like he can't answer a question, yes or no. He got to give doo-doo answers out his mouth, all this stuff coming out his mouth. And You want me to stay on point and with what you're saying, but you're not putting it in a chronology. He's talking about chronology, but he don't know how to say this is A1, A2, B1, B2. Could you answer these in this manner? But let's deal with chronology. I have that conversation here too, because he brought it up. That's good. We're going to go to that part of the.
How was Egypt's chronology developed? To properly understand how the conventional scheme of Egypt as chronology was developed, I would like to quote from David Rowell, as well illustrated in a fascinating book called A Test of Time. David Rowell offers the following introduction to the chronology of Egypt.
So we got a chronology of Egypt, the time the papyrus was written, and the time that they said the Bible, Exodus, happened. And then they said it possibly couldn't happen at that time, so you don't have no evidence, because ain't no evidence at that time. We went played in the dirt, and we went to that time period, and there's no evidence in that time period of an Exodus. Well, that's how you cause a problem. You give it a time and say if it's not in that time, then you're incorrect. So let's listen on, because that's what he just did. He said this was written then. I believe the Bible stole from it. They love to say the Bible bit the copy written.
The singular event of Christ's birth, conveniently dated to year 0, is the firm anchor point for our AD, a no-do-mini dating system. So, the year in which I write this book.
So, Christ's birth, they gave it a time, and that time is 0. That's the middle line between the old chronology and the new chronology. Time between AD and BC. That's why I said, do you know how to come up with a chronology? We got to go backwards. We can't go forward. And they like to use chronology backwards, coming forward. That's why he left the line. He don't want to talk. He get off, I don't want to talk.
No,
But that's why
he just wanted to make sure, he let you rock so y'all wouldn't, because you're still doing your presentation. So that way y'all didn't keep going back and forth and you never got to finish your presentation.
Okay, that's cool. I said I wanted all the smoke, though. I didn't care about it.
I know you did.
It's got to be did respectfully. And he don't respectfully have a discourse with people. Because you would say something, you don't have to have a long doubt. You would say something, answer that for me, will you? Okay, now let me build more on the discussion. Okay, I asked a question. Okay, give it back to you. And we pass the mic. We ain't got to say, well, give me 5 minutes, you get 5 minutes. You take your time, ask a reasonable question. And I have a reasonable question. We having a reasonable discourse. But if you say, no, you cut me off and you killing my thought and stuff, it's like, man, you just talked for 10 minutes. You expect me to remember everything you stated, take notes and stuff, and then.
Y'all was doing good though, bro. Y'all was doing good.
Yeah, I don't feel that way. But this is dealing with chronology. So once again, the chronology that I have, the old king, Dynasty 1 through 6, that's the old king. Dynasty 12 through 13, that's middle kingdom. Dynasty 18, 19, and 20 is the new king. So, different chronologies, different time periods. Now, this new kingdom, 18, 19, and 20, is when they said a Hyksos rule. King Tut, Ramses the Great, all of them is in that dynasty. Now, when do they say the Exodus happened? The old kingdom, middle kingdom, or the new kingdom? See, now I need to discourse with him, and he ain't here. Because I need someone to answer that. The old kingdom, 1 through 6, the Middle Kingdom, 12 through 13, or the New Kingdom, 18 through 20.
I'm with you.
So which kingdom or which dynasty did the exit supposed to happen?
That's the question, bro.
That's why I was like, you bringing up Ramsey. Okay, what dynasty is Ramsey?
Well, this the thing, because you get a lot of Bible or Christian apologists who say it was that period, the period of the Ramesside kings, and then you get some who say it was Akhenaten, it was Tutmosis. So you know, you have all these different theories because the Bible does not tell you, and so
that's from the movie right there. That go Ramses right there. That's who they say Ramses is. So that's
some boulder dash though, bro. So I'm just saying, like, but you follow me though, like when we don't have, it don't give you a time frame, and it don't give you the name of the actual ruler.
But when he said build the pyramids, he let you know what time frame he's thinking about. Because
you playing a guessing game, though. But that was still. But even when you say they was building pyramids, that's still a decent distance of time. Like that wasn't just a 50-year period.
Let's listen.
Did the Pharaoh live to fight another day?
So now, it didn't say the Pharaoh firstborn died, but it does say in the Bible that Pharaoh died with his Egyptians in that sea. So how could you have a statue or a mummy of this Pharaoh, Ramses, and say he was the one? If you got a mummy of this dude, and you say he died in Egypt, then how could that be the Pharaoh? Because the Pharaoh died in the flood, in the Red Sea. So let's listen to some of this stuff. See, that's why I asked for a debate, because I know in a debate you would have to come up with your arguments, and you will have to argue stuff, and you will have to answer. And you will have to respectfully respect the time. So you ain't got time to be jaw-jacked. But let's listen.
Exodus 14:28, and the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There did not remain so much as one of them. Exodus 15:19, for the house of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. Psalm 106:9-11, and he rebuked the Red Sea and redeemed them from the hand of the enemy, and the waters covered their enemies. There was not one of them left.
So it wasn't one Egyptian that rode out there to that sea trying to provoke them Hebrews, because that's what they was known as back then. They might have called them Hyksos or whatever the terminology they wrote in their books. But them Hebrews left up out that sea, and them Egyptians died in that sea. Every one of them. And Pharaoh was with them. So if you have a body of a Pharaoh that didn't come out the Red Sea, and they don't tell you it came out the Red Sea and he was drowning and stuff, that's not your Pharaoh. But see, people don't even know that the Pharaoh died in the sea. But they used to be Bible scholars, Hebrew Israelites and stuff. So they can't even put 1 and 2 together to come up with the simple understanding that you can't have a Pharaoh that, look at that. You see them three? Them pharaohs. They've been embalmed, them mummies and stuff. I see Ramses as one of them. I can't get you. Let me get you back on the screen because I can't see you. Even though y'all might be able to see me. So
Your camera off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I gotta find y'all. Well, I gotta find you and hit that thing so I can get back.
Yeah, it should be like a little there you go.
All right. So there go Tutmos. How you say that? Something the second, and there go Ramses. So when you say Ramses, when you even just bring up the name, that shows that you are a Ten Commandment watching black guy trying to talk Bible from a white man's perspective.
Wait, you say that again, bro. He just
Ten Commandment watching black guy trying to talk Bible from a white man perspective, movie perspective as that. You'll believe the movie perspective over the biblical perspective. The hell with that Bible, I wipe my butt with it, but you watch the movie and come up with Ramses. It's the Pharaoh that did all this stuff. See, that's why I was saying they was mentally masturbating last night. Now, the fact that I don't have the Wi-Fi, I can't show the presentation like I want to and get into it like I want to. But I would like to dialogue.
Yeah, we gonna. I want you to when you get everything hooked up, I want you to come back and do your presentation where you can share the screen.
So here go Yosef ben Yachanan chronology. Let me show you how the elderly scholars and stuff mental was messed up. So it say the chronology of the Bible by Yosef ben Yachanan. Y'all know who that is, right?
You mean Dr. Yosef ben Jochanan?
Yosef ben Yachanan is Dr. Bean.
Right.
The chronology of Dr. Bean. So that's why I asked him, how are you coming up with a chronology? If you don't know how to make a chronology, then you're not qualified to talk about what happened way back when, because you don't even know how to get your tail back there. You don't have a GPS system.
Hey, we got a powerful young brother on here by the name of Rocky, and I think he got a question for you. What's up, Rocky?
What's up, Rocky?
What's up, y'all? I haven't been tuned. I know y'all been live for about 45 minutes or an hour. I ain't tuned in for the whole joint, so I don't know if the timing of me hopping on is appropriate. I don't know what y'all got going. We just talking about the Exodus.
Yeah.
My brother says that well, I'll let him speak for himself. Go ahead, Reload.
Yeah, I'm showing an old presentation that I showed on Israel Doctrine Reloaded, but since DJ K. Slay and Layla Wells and Mr. Wickset got my channel taken down, you can't see the presentation properly because I'm limited to my phone. But whatever you want to ask, bro, go ahead. As long as we can respectfully talk back, because a lot of people don't know how to talk back and forth. You're killing my thoughts. Man, if you can't hold your thoughts for 5 minutes, you need to stop thinking. Running your mouth.
All right, I got you, bro. So so I just got a couple questions for you. Yeah, I ain't gonna, unless we get into something deeper. So you're a proponent of like the Exodus happening strictly according to the text, or do you feel like it happened but the text is a little bit exaggerated? How you feel about that?
I'm strictly Bible. If the Bible said, I'm with it 100%. I put my faith in it. Now I don't need to believe. I put my faith in what the Bible, what's written. I would say it like that. Because people got a problem with you believing something.
Okay, so you believe how many? So you believe it was what? What did they say? 500,000? How many Israelites did they say left up out of Egypt during the Exodus? If y'all know
It's
the
chapter 20. I can't
exact
remember
number.
exactly what it says, but it was a lot of Israelites and a lot of Egyptians and everybody else that was down there in Egypt. And they was known as Israelites when they was rolling with Israel.
Okay. They say, okay, so the Torah says 600,000 people that left up out of Egypt during the Exodus. So were you saying that you believe or you have faith like that there was 600,000? You hold true to that. You stand firm in that.
Well, as people like to say, the Bible is a myth book. So, though it says one number, it may have been different because the people that was writing may not properly got the right count. I mean, people don't get the right count now with computers and stuff. So people back there with hand stuff, and you know how you pass a message in school and you go through 16 people and at the end is different. So it may have been off a little bit. That's the thing about a myth. It still has truth in it, even though it may be not be 100% correct. Like, you know, people saying that, well, you can't show me the primary and this and that, you know.
Yeah.
But I go with the book says, what's written.
Okay, I got you. So hold on, give me 1 second. So do you and I came in when you were showing the pictures of I think you said Ramses. I don't know if you said was it Ramses II or Ramses III, and I think you showed
It was Hugh.
that ain't my question. Okay, I got you, brother. My question is, so who do you feel like was the head of Egypt, the ruler of Egypt, or the pharaoh as they call him, during the time of the Exodus? Like if you, even if you don't know, if you could throw an idea out.
Well, I can give you Joseph, Pharaoh. The one during the time of the Exodus. Here go some pictures right here if y'all can see them.
Oh man, it kicked me out. I didn't hear what you were saying at first. I
can give you Joseph, Pharaoh for sure. But during the time of the Exodus, I got it somewhere here in the document. I can't say right offhand because I didn't know I was going to do this today, so I didn't sit down and prep before.
Okay.
But it's in the documentation. It's in the documentation.
It's all good. It's no pressure. It's no pressure. So I feel like you can't say immediately off the top. Can you tell us who was the? I know you said you had you know who the pharaoh was during Joseph. When Joseph was the pharaoh's right hand man.
Yeah.
You know what pharaoh that was? What pharaoh was that?
Well, here it is right here. Man, I'm from the South. I got a messed up tongue and stuff anyway, but let the computer speak.
This would mean Joseph's pharaoh would be an earlier pharaoh than Amenemhat III. Corville chooses Sesostris, the fourth pharaoh before Amenemhat III and second pharaoh of the 12th dynasty as Joseph's pharaoh.
So, however you say that,
okay.
Sesostris 1, the fourth pharaoh before, how you say his name, whatever, the third, the second pharaoh of the 12th dynasty is Joseph pharaoh. So
okay, so Joseph. Okay, so that would mean, and I know we're kind of getting out of the realm of the Exodus then. So if Joseph, if we're talking about the 12th dynasty, second pharaoh of the 12th dynasty, so that would mean Joseph was sold off into slavery during what, the 12th dynastic, the start of the 12th dynastic period in Egypt then, right? By his brothers?
Around that time or whatever.
He would have been okay. I've never heard this one. That's cool. But back to the Exodus. So we can't really say right off the top like who is the Pharaoh, right? And that's cool. I know how it go, bro. You don't got access to all the info like you want to have access to all the info.
I didn't go over the PowerPoint. It's been so long that I didn't even know I was gonna come up with this. But like I said, they was mentally ejaculating last night, so I was like, "Hey, let me do something to deal with their conversation." But the 18th and the 19th dynasty is where I place the Exodus through my research of those who done research.
The 18th and the 19th dynasty.
The 18th or the 19th dynasty.
Okay, that's okay. That's
interesting.
That's in the
That's
new
interesting.
Yes, sir.
Between
Yes, sir.
1750 BC and 1525 BC.
Okay. That's interesting. Now, so my follow-up question next to that, right? So we talking about the 18th night. You said the 18th or the 19th dynasty. You said 17th. Then you said 1750 BCE to 16.
Late Bronze Age, yeah. 18,
okay.
19. 152 BC.
Okay. Yes, sir. So my next question would be, right? So during this time of the Exodus, right? During the time that the consensus says that the Exodus was, right? The population of Egypt, and Pianki may have this. I'm driving right now. Pianki, the population of Egypt. Correct me if I'm wrong. We had 1.5 million, or was it 2 million?
I'd say probably 1.5.
1.5 million, right? So we got 600,000 people leaving up out of a country whose total population is only 1.5 million. So you go from 1.5 mil, right? If it's exactly 1.5 mil, now you're down to 900,000 people. So my question is, I know you got your presentation. Do you have like any evidence? It don't even gotta be primary. Maybe you got some secondary sources, or maybe even got some scholarly comments on a time period on the economic impact that would have, that had on Egypt. Because surely there was some type of economic impact. Because we know
that's what the poem about, the papyrus. It talks about that time frame, just like what would happen if all them people left. It would have messed up the economic system. Because in the Bible, it say Joseph, when he had the 7 years of good and then the 7 years of famine.
Yes, sir.
He took all the Egyptians' wealth and put it in the house of the Pharaoh, his Pharaoh. He said, you ain't got money to deal with the food, bring your money. So then the economic system was messed up. That's why they say the Jews are financial gurus and stuff. That's why you had the dude over the dollar for so long, whatever his name was, with the glasses, the Jew. So Joseph took all the money. After he took all the money and messed up the economic system, the people started selling themselves off to get food and stuff. So that Pharaoh that Joseph was under was like the richest Pharaoh. He started the whole northern and southern kingdom coming together because he was the one in the Bible that was dominating stuff during the time of the plenty and the famine.
So it was Norman?
So hold on, now, oh man, P.I. I'm trying to build up a trail to lead to the end so we can get to the bottom.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let y'all rock.
So Israel Doctrine, my good brother. So you said that the Pharaoh of Joseph's times was the one that united Upper and Lower Kemet, basically.
Well, the economic system, the famine brought all the goods of Egypt into the house of the Pharaoh. So now you got to do is look for the Pharaoh had the biggest war chest. If he had all the finances of Egypt and all the people, when you find that Pharaoh, you say, okay, now we're getting close to the Exodus, because that's Joseph Pharaoh right there. And you can't say that Egypt never came together. That's how you got Am and Ra, because the northern and the southern kingdoms united.
Okay. So upper and lower Egypt united during Joseph's time, then, or a little bit prior.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying that Pharaoh will be the most likely candidate. Now, in Egyptian history, there is a Pharaoh in which did these things, but no one ever talks about these things, so you don't know the point at that one. It's like the Exodus didn't exist, or Joseph never existed. He never had 7 years plenty and 7 years of bad. Like Egypt never went through a famine. You got to find a famine to find Joseph.
Gotcha.
And after
So
Joseph come Moses.
Okay, so the famine in Joseph, that's essential to the Exodus story, in your opinion. So is that what you're saying, brother? Like Joseph is essential. Joseph's relationship with that particular Pharaoh is essential to the Exodus until Moses getting into Egypt?
Yes, and to the Hebrews coming into Egypt. That's how they got into Egypt. Now, once they got into Egypt, they became the upper echelon of the Egyptians. The Egyptians already had their houses in their heads, but the Pharaoh said, we're going to give you Goshen, the best of the land. And when the famine and all this stuff happened, the Hebrews, that's why the Egyptians eventually put them in hard tasks and stuff, because they had the best. They had the best of the land, the best of the cattle. They was making babies with them Egyptian women. And you know, us people, we don't like you coming in our neighborhood sleeping with our women, and we can't populate the earth. That's what the Bible story was talking about. So people got to act like it has to be very historical. And if it don't fit the historical outline, then it didn't happen. But that's not what mythology is. That's not even what a myth is. A mythos or a mythology is a true story, but it's told in a certain way that you can get the moral understanding. But we so immoral, no one cares about the moral understanding. They want to know if it was historically right or not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I feel you. And I'm asking you these questions because I'm trying to get down to like how you conceptualize the Exodus is happening, right? Because if we're gonna look at it, like if we're gonna track, if we're gonna go, if we're gonna take the task on of trying to figure out when exactly did the Exodus happen, how did it happen, did it actually happen? You know, we gotta find things in this process, right? To balance out against our hypothesis on did the Exodus happen, right? So if your opinion, you want to start out with Joseph and the Pharaoh, right? So then we go from Joseph and the Pharaoh, right? So then we move down and we get to Moses. So you say Joseph was in the 12th. You say Joseph, that source you have for your presentation said Joseph was 12th dynasty, the second Pharaoh of the 12th dynasty, right? So what dynasty would? So if we can do that, then we can count down basically, like to figure out, right? What dynasty Moses would have been in Egypt, and what Pharaoh, so to speak, would have been Moses' like stepdaddy or whatever.
Yes, 18th to 19th dynasty is what I didn't determine.
Okay, you said 18th to 19th. Okay, that's cool. So now we got the 18th to 19th dynasty. Now we got a time period in mind to figure out if we can flesh out any evidence of Moses, right? Because we got to get Moses before we get to the Exodus, right? So now what we do next is now we try to seek and determine, because without Moses, with no Moses, there's no Exodus. Would you agree?
Yeah, with no Moses, no Joseph, no being in Egypt, there ain't no Exodus. They made the story up and it's all a lie. And I don't follow lies. So somebody lied to me saying that the Bible is lying.
Okay. I feel you. So now right? So Moses would have been in Kemet in the 18th and 19th dynasty, right? So now we got written records from the 18th and 19th dynasty, right? So now what we can do, we can take our hypothesis that we started from. We started with the hypothesis, right? Now we got to Joseph, that's point A. Now we have point B. Now we have Moses, and we know without Moses and Joseph, there was no Exodus. So now we can go verify the existence of Moses through those records of the 18th and 19th dynasty, right? So now, do we have any records of any man, any stepson of a pharaoh, or anything similar to any of the biblical stories of what happened in Kemet? Do we find that? Because we know they wrote everything down. That's the reason why we know so much about them. They wrote damn near everything down, you know?
I understand that. That's why when I talk to you Kemites, so you people that deal with Kemet, or you Egyptologists, I don't want to be disrespectful, but you know.
Nah, you cool. I'm not a Kemet guy.
I'm trying to get an understanding of the Egypt part. See, I talked to Brother Reggie back in the day, and I've always tried to understand the Kemet part. But you have to admit that there's a discrepancy in the chronology. That's why I be like, anyone that speaks on this and don't know how to deal with chronology, you already discredited. We can't even get time frames and stuff, because there's an old chronology and there's a new chronology. The new chronology put things in this proper place. The walls of Jericho did fall. They didn't fall during the time that people said they should have failed, because people gave you a false premise.
Okay.
But when you find Jericho and the walls falling, because it did happen, they found them. They found Jericho and they found that the walls fell. Now what you do? You say, well, that's when the walls of Jericho fell. But then you say, well, the Bible is not chronologically sound. Then you're like, well, you got to come up with a new chronology. That's the whole problem with this whole thing. Nobody wants to come up with a new chronology because they act like they don't know how to deal with a chronology.
Yes, sir. So I feel you, good brother, Israel Doctrine. So I just got a couple more questions, and then I'll fade to black, and I'll let Pianki rock out, or we can continue dialogue. So my next question, right? So we're gonna go to the 18th and 19th dynasty, right? So the 18th and 19th dynasty actually is from like 1292 BCE to 1170. 1180. If somebody's at a computer, they can correct me. That's during the Ramesside period, if I'm not mistaken. Pianki, you got a better grasp on Kemet than me. That's during the Ramesside period. Am I mistaken?
Which dynasty?
He said the 18th and 19th dynasty.
You are correct, sir.
We're talking 1292 to like 1182, 1172. So so we got that right, and this just to follow the brother timeline, right? If you could pull it up and show it, even if you wanted to, you could do that too, Pianki. So now we know. So it was during the Ramesside period, right? So what was going on? If we can't ascertain, we can't get down to the primaries or any writings about Moses or any character. Maybe Moses wasn't his name, that had a similar thing in the Bible and Kemet. Now we say we can't do that right now, right? So now we move on to the next. Now we can move on to another step, right? So now we can see, okay, so what do we do next? So now we got the idea that they left out of Egypt and they went into Canaan, right? And the good brother Israel Doctrine said the 18th and 19th dynasty was 1292 BCE to 1180, 1160, around that time BCE, right? So now we can even go from that, right? So now I want to know what was happening during the Ramesside period in the area of Levant.
You want him to answer or you want me to answer?
Either
I
one.
don't
You
know.
know, I'm just having a convo. Either one.
So the 18th dynasty was from 1539 BC to 1292 BC. And what was happening in the Levant or in that region, Canaan, what we now know as the Near East, Middle East, etc.
You said the 19th dynasty?
I mean the 18th. You talking to me?
Yeah. I thought 19th dynasty 12.
Oh,
12,
you said the 18th and 19th. Oh, my bad. That was just.
I was just sticking with exactly what the brother said, the 18th or the 19th. And
yeah,
I brought up the of the 19th specifically because if we're gonna throw the 19th in there, then as you know, you're gonna run into problems. You're talking about the Ramazan, you know.
Right. That was just the 18th dynasty. So then that would mean that the 19th dynasty started in 1292. So let's just do a quick. I'm on Britannica, by the way, so ain't nobody got to worry about me being on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Oh man, I was finna yell out. You being pseudo, bro.
I pay my $8.99 a month.
Oh, but, you pay? Oh man, I just keep refreshing the page when they make.
Yeah. You know I'm a little prideful. So, but it's 1292 BC to 1190 BC was the 19th.
1190. Okay. And who and that was the Ramaz. If I'm not mistaken, that's the Ramazan. That's
You are right? Correct. You are
okay,
correct.
So what was they? So my question is then, right? So what were to you or the brother? What was going on in the Levant? Who held hegemony over the Levant during this time? During the Ramazan period of kings, who held hegemony in the Levant?
That would be Kemet.
So right. Especially during this period, especially during this time, it gets a little more intense with how they ran up in there. But so my next question would be, right, if we're going with the dates, 18th and 19th dynasty, and we say that, and the brother said the 18th dynasty, 15 to whatever, and he said 19th, and he mentioned Ramses earlier. That's the only reason why I'm talking about the Ramesses kings, because we didn't get a number whether it was Ramses II or Ramses III, right? So we're going with 19th, right?
It was Ramses II who kicked off the 19th.
No, I'm talking about what the brother showed us pictures.
My bad.
I didn't know if the brother said Ramses II or Ramses III or Ramses or the you know what I mean? We didn't know specifically which Ramses the brother was showing, unless he told you one of them. But so we know, right? So Ramses was, during that time, Kemet was going stupid in the Levant. We know that, right? So why would 600,000 people leave up out of Egypt just to go into little Egypt?
Right. Why would they jump out the frying pan and into the fire?
Can I let the computer read right quick and we deal with the info that I got right here?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can. Can you hold it? Try like either turn it up. I don't know if you gotta hold your phone closer. But the first time I could only make out like some of what it was saying. I couldn't make out everything. I don't know if you could like.
We'll talk about what it says after I play it. So if you didn't catch it all.
Based on the mention of the store city of Pithom and Ramses, Exodus 1:11, in the Nile Delta, where Ramesses the Great, dated conventionally around 1250 BC, did a lot of building works. These early archaeologists concluded that the Exodus occurred in the reign of Ramesses the Great, Ramesses II of the 19th dynasty.
Do you hear that?
Yes, sir.
So based on the story cities of Ramses and all of that in Exodus 1 and 11, in the Nile Delta, Ramses the Great was the one that they talked about, or that the Ramses of that time period. And that's what that's why he mentioned the word Ramses. But that's why he got off the phone too, because he know he like, hold up, like he probably knows something about this and gonna talk about it. And I don't want to discourse be out there. I don't want to discourse with them, so I'm finna get off this phone.
Wait, who was on? Somebody was on early and hopped off or something?
Yeah, the white boy Chris.
Who? Chris, are you talking about Chris Harris?
Yeah, the European.
I know he was. You crazy, man. I didn't know Chris was white, man.
European minded, you're European if you're a European mindset. So
Okay. So I ain't really gonna talk about that. He ain't here to defend himself. But so then my question would be, right? Or if you can answer that question that we asked, why would you leave up? So why, like, right? So why would Pianki, if Pianki stay with his uncles, right? He younger. Why would Pianki go from a situation where his uncle's always abusing him and beating on him? Why would he move from his uncle house to his abusive daddy house, where his abusive daddy just gonna beat on him and slap on him and stump him worse than his uncles is? It would make more sense for me for Pianki to go to his mom's house.
Up on the biblical story, Egypt just had its firstborn of every male killed. So Pharaoh told them, y'all get up out of here before it's some more killing. Because I didn't curse my people and this death is going around, and anybody that ain't got the blood on the doorpost and ain't listening to the God of Israel gonna die. Y'all get up out of here and go worship y'all God like Moses been up here begging for y'all to do. Yes. So if you ask why, based up on the biblical narrative, that's the reason why. I get the hell up out of Egypt too. People dying. I'm gone, man. I'll holler at y'all later. But
see, Israel Doctrine, that's why you gotta have kind of like, you gotta follow like a method or have a redundancy in the process of verifying these things. And I didn't mean to say that to sound condescending, because like if what you said, right, brother, based on the biblical narrative, right? Then if 600,000 people left up out of Egypt, that is 1/3 of their total population that just disappeared and gone. That's 1/3 of their economy gone. Why don't we see the economic impacts or implications in Kemet, and the documentation and the writing about it in Kemet? And then when you go from there, right, why don't we see the things on a route that supposedly was taken from Kemet to get to the promised land? We don't see any pottery. We don't see any we don't see enough pottery for 600,000 people. We don't see nothing that they left behind. We don't see any fighting tools.
Let me ask you a question. We know that the Egyptians destroyed history that was bad. They went and knocked stuff off the wall. Not all the stone in Egypt.
What's your source for that though? Because what's your source for it?
Yeah.
You said we know it, so I'm trying to figure out how we know this.
Pianki, if we're gonna be fair, that happened. That, to my knowledge, that happened once, and it was a very funny thing because it happened with that leader's family member, and it was Hatshepsut.
I got it happening twice on record.
Oh, you got it happening twice? Oh, you know, okay, you know twice. I only know once.
You asking me? I don't study Kemet like that, so I don't.
So how you? So with you not studying it, how do you know it happened?
Because I've heard of it happening.
So you just heard.
Either I'm quoting correctly, I'm incorrectly. If I'm incorrect,
no, I'm just asking what
it's cool.
What's your basis? Listen, bro, you said we know, so I'm asking how you know.
Because you just said you know. You got two references in the desk.
I said that after you said it.
Right, but I'm saying, listen, I'm just saying.
Hey man, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you say you ain't smart no more. Don't say that no more. Because I saw what you just did. I saw what you just did. Go ahead.
I was being honest to give you that, to say, right? And the reason why I gave you that and I interrupted Pianki to say that is, we know when it happened. The Kemet, we got the records is so good from Kemet.
It's good. That's why I said I know y'all know. If you know Pianki said it happened twice. I don't know about the second time to verify that. I can only speak to what I know with Hatshepsut, and Pianki would say if it was her, I think it was her nephew or her cousin or something like that that actually took over after her.
Yeah. It was her family member that
So
did it
can I get to my
took
point?
over after her that made her look crazy. No, but what I'm saying is,
I got
we
her
would
and
know.
Akhenaten.
We would know, right? That's what I'm building up to. We at this point, because we know what happened with her, then we would know, right? If another ruler, if it happened with another ruler, we have the information to know based off the records, based off the way Egypt left stuff. We would know.
Hopefully they documented it if it happened. If that ruler said, I'm finna do this and you better not document it, you think they documented it? So you putting your trust in a ruler that wants to knock off some history, some Alexander the Great and all this, burn up libraries and stuff and kill all this history so you won't have it in the future. But we would know if he did that because they would have recorded. It has to be a brave man with big balls to go against the king, the God of that time, and record some history he wasn't supposed to record.
That's not necessarily what I was getting to and expressing. What I was trying to get to and express is that with the scholarship and the technology we have today, we are able to ascertain what happened in there. In like with Hatshepsut, we're able to ascertain that. So what I'm saying,
well, that's good.
it's reasonable to presume that we would be able to do it with it. But this is also besides the point. But I only brought up those two cases just to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I didn't want you to bring it out later, like a dagger.
Yeah, I'm not trying to masturbate, brother. I'm being honest with you. I'm being honest with you too. Like I told you, I don't know, but I heard it before. Now either I'm quoting it wrong, or you know what I'm saying to be true. And when you state that, well, I know of two cases, then you're stating that you know what I'm saying is true. So let me get back to the point, because we got all off the point. The point was,
yes, sir.
If one wants to hide the history, it didn't happen before. Not to say one did it or didn't do it, but you can't say one can't do it or it would have been documented. We know that Egyptians covered up some history. They went knock some stones off the wall, so your tail wouldn't be able to tell what the history was. So you can't say where's these things at and why do they not exist? Or we would know because we got all this technology and stuff. When the chronology is effed up in the first place, things are out of place. You wouldn't know. That means that there was somebody sitting back with a devilish mind to kill it.
Okay. So my good brother Israel Doctrine. So that means that. So what you're saying, right? Because my original question was, why don't we have any artifacts from the Exodus? So you're saying basically the Pharaoh, right, Ramses II, right, followed them up out of there and just took everything that they dropped on the ground and took it back to Egypt.
No, it wasn't real.
That we would make sure we wouldn't be able to find no archaeological things. He went back and he sent some men. He said, "Yo, pick up everything they." I even want y'all to part the Red Sea to make sure you can't find none at the bottom of the sea too, just in case they drop something. You feel me? When they cross the street or whatever.
Number one, whatever Pharaoh it was died. He couldn't clean up nothing. He was dead in the Red Sea. And Ramses the Great got plenty of history, and it don't say he died in the sea. So it's not Ramses.
Let me ask you this, Reloaded, because we're gonna get ready to close out. Let me ask you these two questions, and then we're gonna get out of here. So, what do you have an assertion as to who the Pharaoh of the Exodus was?
Me, Carl, Israel, Reloaded. Yeah. The Pharaoh of the Exodus. Let me see. Let me look up in these. Moses Pharaoh.
Because I'm trying to think of a Pharaoh that's reported to have drowned.
He gave us the time period though, Piaki.
Right.
He already gave us the time, so we already know what would have happened with any of those pharaohs during the time.
And none of them drowned. So I'm sure that's why I'm asking who he think it is. Which one he think it is, I should say.
So it was no pharaoh that came up missing at any time. Huh? All of them lived.
In that time frame?
Well, you can't like, the thing is, brother, like, let's say you can't hop off, right, and then get ready for the next time you come on, and then just come up with a pharaoh that just disappeared and died mysteriously, and then say this was the guy, because then you got to juxtapose that, and you got to mix that in with the time period. You know what I mean? We can't just say, so that didn't happen to no pharaoh. We're talking about during a time period that you specifically mentioned.
The point between the late bronze and late bronze 2 periods. The problem simply stated for Jericho is that the destruction based on the pottery and artifacts found is dated to the Middle Bronze Age, and there is no evidence of the city being occupied for most of the Late Bronze Age.
So, yes, the late bronze in the late bronze 2 period, there's a probably simple statement about Jericho, as I mentioned. Based up on the pottery and artifacts, the date is dated to the Middle Bronze Age, and there's no evidence in the Middle Bronze Age. So the Late Bronze Age is when I'm saying the thing happened. So who was the pharaoh in the Late Bronze Age?
So the only issue I'm gonna hop off, and because I know Pianki trying to close out. I appreciate you letting me on, Pianki. I appreciate you talking to me, brother Reloaded. My only thing I say, you know, and you can reply. I gotta drop off, but my only problem would be, right, even if we don't even gotta ascertain the truth of the matter. Going through these processes, now we gotta figure out who and what what source you giving us from the computer, or what slide, what way did you get that information from that you're playing? You know what I mean? Because now we gotta figure out. Now we gotta go through a process of vetting information, right? If we're gonna throw everything else, if we're gonna throw the baby in the bathwater of what me and Pianki just brought up out, right? Now we gotta just stick with your info. We gotta verify where you got that from to know the reliability of it, the integrity of the information.
Well,
you know what I mean? You gotta.
On the 18th, I should have Wi-Fi at the house. I haven't been able to get them to come out and hook it up. So on the 18th, I could come back and we could talk about it. And like I said, I didn't know I was going to do this. I asked Pianki if I can come over, and he was like, we can do it at 3. And then he said 5. So I was like, oh, man, I'm going to be on the spot. But I'm willing to do it because I believe what I'm dealing with. I have faith of what I'm dealing with is sound. So I don't have no problem being tested. But
Yeah.
as I presented this stuff and made some valid points that the other brothers couldn't make the other day because they didn't have nothing. They don't study to show answers. People got questions and no one studied the book or the research so they can give them the answers. So you catch a person without the information and you take the drawers off and run them through the city and make a shame of them. That's what they tried to do to the brothers last night because they didn't have the information or any information to even make an argument. So I come over here showing, oh, I got some information, let's do this. But I didn't know that I was going to be able to do this today, so I wasn't truly prepared. But I got the information that I got because I done did a show on it, and I done presented the information.
Yes, sir. Well, I drop off. Let me say this. I'm a bow out. I know I said I was going to drop off. My bad, Piaggi.
Oh, no, Rocky. Hey, you already know. My concept is
the info, right, is like with me personally, I look at things like a little bit more academic than most people will look at, and you might find problem with it, but you know, the information, right, a lot of times is what I would say like ends without the means, and the means is the process, the research process, the methodological process you went through to come to the conclusion that you come to, right? It has to be based on verifiable things. You got to collect your primary sources, and all of those things coming to a conclusion and figuring out if the Exodus existed, right? Because if I came on here and I just said we don't got no archaeology for the Exodus, we don't got no pottery shards or nothing going from Egypt to Kemet. From Kemet to Canaan We don't got nothing in that, so that automatically mean it's not fact. That's problematic because I'm just stopping at one point. You got to go through a whole methodological process of doing. You got to figure out the time period that they would have left, when they would have left, the circumstances, the economic and political circumstances surrounding them leaving. And then when you get to those sources, you got to figure out, okay, is there a particular reason that the author wrote this particular passage? And all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and slide out. Appreciate the combo. I'm gonna come back.
Steaming over the computer screen. But that's what them brothers do.
Next time you hop on, I'll come back and I'll
doubt. Hey, Rocky, jump over the Dagger Squad. I'm gonna try to jump on when I get off of here.
Yes, sir.
But that's what them brothers do, and that's very disrespectful. I don't know why they do that. See, if they want to go against somebody, they should pull out David Rowe's movie and beat David Rowe up because he done said a lot of things that they disagree with. But they know your Sunday go the meeting pastor ain't did no research. Like the brother yesterday, I don't know if he's Sunday or Saturday or what he is, but he didn't have no research. He didn't have no conversation for them. But do you believe? And then they was afraid to say yes or no to the simple question, do you believe? Yes or no? He should have asked them yes or no. But they ran from yes or no because they don't want to be put on record as lying, whatever they call themselves now. It's a bunch of cowards in the community. They talk back chats and stuff. But if you call their ass out on the thing, let's go. Let's talk about it. Get your research out. They run.
So we got it to where you coming back on the 18th.
Yeah, somebody want to debate it.
And you want all the smoke.
I want all the smoke.
So my brother is calling out whoever want the smoke for the 18th of March. So he's saying he ready. Come get this work. So that's a standing invitation for whoever want to step up. So
y'all heard half of my stuff right here. All you got to do is say, well, that's a lie. I can prove that wrong. I can prove that wrong.
So basically he's saying he didn't already gave whoever wanted the first punch right here because he didn't gave you half of his stuff. So it is what it is. My bro, close out, man, and I'm going to get up out of here.
Peace to all melanated people.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Melanated liberation.
So you got it. The brother is back. No more Israel Doctrine. It is reloaded, reborn. So y'all check him out. He got some work over there. He building back up, and he gonna be coming on here dropping some information as well. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, the Gmail is Israel Doctrine Reloaded Reborn. So I'm still Israel Doctrine, but okay. I had to get a new stance on YouTube because they took my channel because of the comedics. Because I'm out here fighting this pedophilia and talking about those pederasts. So, you know, got a lot of punishment for that from the Hebrew Israelites, the Kemets, the Moors, everybody. The Zulu Kemetic Moors are strong. They are strong. I'm fighting what Tupac was fighting. If y'all don't know, when he was fighting with Q-Tip, when he was fighting with Ice Cube, them Zulus, you fight the Zulu Nation, they pretty powerful. So
support the brother. Support the brother. Go check him out. So we up out of here, family. Until next time, we'll be black at you. No doubt, bro. I appreciate you.